Next on ACC Live Breakdown, the ACC is OUT. Miami fell in the Sweet 16. Now Duke goes down as well. A disappointing finish with no conference teams in the Final Four. Also,
we're watching a highlight reel by C.J. Leslie.
Will he stay or will he go? C.J. Leslie makes his decision. What about Alex Len, James Michael McAdoo, or Shane Larkin? Which way they could be leaning? Plus,
Miami wins its first ever ACC championship.
There were plenty of moments to choose from, but we were able to narrow it down to number one. We reveal the best must-see moment from the 2012-2013 season on ACC Live Breakdown. It starts now. Welcome to ACC Live Breakdown, the final ACC Live of the college basketball season. He is JR Reid. I'm Jeff Shell. It's April 1st, April Fool's Day. I wish this were a prank. It's not. No ACC teams are in the Final Four. But since we're talking April Fool's Day, JR, in your career, did you ever get pranked?
I've been pranked. It wasn't on April Fool's Day. Playing with Muggsy in my second year. They ran a VCR into the back of the television, so I'm at Muggsy's house watching TV, and then they get this news break. JR Reid's been traded. Man, I went banana. I was hot as a wet cat. And I don't know how they edited anything out of that they could air on television, but they did. But Muggsy got me. I should have never trusted a Wake Forest guy.
That's right. And he was doing that with a show with Rick Mahorn and Barkley, right?
Barkley, two clowns themselves, so I should have known. Should have known.
You know, let's start today's show with some breaking news. Just in the last 90 minutes, we learned C.J. Leslie is going pro. Just last week, he made it clear he hadn't made a decision yet, which left the door open for him coming back for a senior year. Leslie had a solid junior season, averaging 15 points, 7.5 rebounds a game. He also got a little criticism for looking disinterested from time to time. JR, was it time for him to go pro?
I think so. 3 years at NC State, two different coaches. The ability to play under different systems really helped him. I think this guy's going to be a tremendous NBA player with his explosive abilities on offense.
I mentioned the critiques at times this year. He just disappeared from time to time. He was the preseason pick for ACC Player of the Year. JR, people expected him to be dominant, but he wasn't always.
He was dominant at times, and like you said, sometimes they had a hard time keeping him focused in on things. But a tremendously gifted player who can really get all up off the floor, get to the basket at will, and you're going to be able to see him showcase these skills much more on the next level.
So you think he fits in well at the NBA?
Absolutely. He's going to be a prototypical three-man. He might get a few minutes at four, but mostly at the three. But with that quick first step, I can see him raising havoc in the NBA.
Other ACC stars are pondering whether they should go pro. We'll try to read the tea leaves a little later in the show. You know, something is missing this morning. No ACC teams are in the Final Four. Yes, I know Syracuse and Louisville are, and they will be in the ACC, but Miami on Thursday couldn't get a shot to go down against Marquette. Just a bad time to go cold. They allowed Marquette too many layups as well at the other end, 71-61 the final in the Sweet 16. Then yesterday, Duke and Louisville, a three-point game in the half, and that was despite the fact that Ryan Kelly had 3 first-half fouls. Yes. Seth Curry had been shut down, but the Cardinals, JR, just blew out the Blue Devils in the second half. It was an incredible performance by Louisville.
Oh, absolutely. Jeff, that pressure by the Louisville guards was just too much for Duke. They didn't give any daylight to Seth Curry, Ryan Kelly, any of their perimeter players. But we knew this is what Louisville hangs its hat on. They come after you for 40 minutes. They're going to keep waves of players coming at you. And after the gruesome situation yesterday, for this team to come back and focus and play the way they did was truly exceptional.
That defensive perimeter defense was incredible. Seth Curry, just 3 of 9. Quinn Cook, 4 of 11. Rashid Suleiman, 1 of 10. Ryan Kelly, 3 for 9. Duke could just not get any kind of offense going on the perimeter. And, you know, it was tied at 42 in the second half. But, again, Louisville went on a run, never looked back. The Cardinals are in the Final Four. So this wraps up Coach K's season. We thought he might get that 12th Final Four to tie John Wooden for number 1 all time. They finished 30-6. How would you grade their season?
Well, I think anytime you can have a season and you have 30 wins and 6 losses, it's pretty good. I'm going to give them a B+. Even though they were picked to finish second in the conference, they played this season without Seth Curry being able to practice much of the time. Ryan Kelly coming back from an injury. Suleiman up and down early in the season, but really got it going for him in the second half. So I like the way that they did. They completed this season. A 30-6 record is nothing to be ashamed of.
It's the end of an era, though. Curry, Kelly, Plumlee, all gone. Let's look ahead to next year. What are they doing without those guys?
Well, they're going to be starting a new era. And then hopefully they have some good recruits coming in as in the freshman class. But when you come back with your point guard, Quinn Cook's going to be relied on to give them some steady play at the point. You got Rodney Hood, who transferred from Mississippi State.
I'm really glad you mentioned him. He's supposed to be fantastic.
Very good player. Is going to give them some diversity and offensively. And they, like I said, the freshman class is going to be exceptional as well. And anytime you put all that, along with Coach K, and the early exit from the NCAA tournament this year, next year he's going to be fired up and one more.
As I mentioned, the Final Four has this back to the future kind of feel with 2 of the 4 teams are going to be in the ACC. Syracuse next year, Louisville in 2 years. Louisville will play the Cinderella, Wichita State. But the Shockers, they've shocked everybody, but they have not faced the kind of pressure they're going to face against Louisville for 40 minutes.
No, Louisville's going to come at you. They're going to keep – Peyton Sievers going to come at you pressing full court, 2-2-1 traps, half-court traps. But what really impressed me most about them is their release off of their traps. They really sprint off, get to that open player, and do not allow him to get open shots.
The other game also featuring a unique defense, Syracuse's 2-3 zone against Michigan. No one wants to go against that zone.
No, and I briefly, we played against them in '87. They beat us with that zone. It's a tight zone. Boeheim's been running it for years. It's going to be tough for Michigan to get through it.
Can I tell you, Syracuse opponents from three-point range in the tournament, they're 14 of 92 from three-point range. They just completely shut everybody down. So give me your thoughts. Could we see Louisville and Syracuse in the final? Who do you think is going to win the Final Four?
I like Louisville's pressure. I love their guards. I love Russ Smith, but that zone of Syracuse, man, defense wins games. You guys might be able to get scores, but you got to get stops, and Syracuse can rely on stops, and that's what they're going to do.
Hey, it was just a couple of weeks ago, Syracuse and Louisville played in the Big East Tournament Championship. It was a great game. Syracuse had a big lead in the second half, and the Louisville did it what it always does, goes on a huge run and ended up blowing out the Orange. Wow. But again, we could see it. And again, both teams headed to the ACC. So let's look at the ACC now that the year is over for the conference teams. Look back. JR's year-end awards. Everyone knows who the best players are. We already know about that. So that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about JR's awards first. The nastiest dunk in the ACC. Nastiest dunker.
Dunker. That's one and the same almost. This is an easy one. C.J. Leslie. This player is truly gifted on the offensive end. And if you give him 2 steps in the paint, we're going to be on the highlight film, and we're going to be showing you here on the ACCDN. But this guy, above the rim, off the dribble, lobs, he does it all. And I think now, with the spacing in the NBA game, you're going to be able to see a lot more of his highlights.
Okay, now, next up, your ACC Sharpshooter of the Year.
Wow, this was tough. So many great shooters, Seth Curry, but I've got to go with Scott Wood. If I was going to make a video during my camp this summer, and if I need to show a guy shooting in a perfect form, it would be Scott Wood. This guy coming off a screen, stagger, single doubles. He's always lined up to the basket, always feet where they're supposed to be. Tremendous knockdown shooter.
We talked to him in Greensboro after he had broken Rodney Monroe's school record for most threes. When you break a Rodney Monroe three-point shooting record, you can shoot the rock.
Truly done something. Yes, you have.
The next award. Oh, this is an easy one.
Yes.
Mr. Clutch.
Oh, Mr. Clutch. Yeah, I don't need any notes. Here, Michael Snare, a guy that's done it 4 times this year and 2 last year.
Right.
So he's a game winner. If you're a Florida State fan, you're just hoping, let's hang close. Let's keep it to a 3-point game and get it to Mr. Snare and let him work his magic. And he's been able to do it. And the NBA teams are going to see this very diverse player next year.
You think he can move on to the next level?
I think so. He's got that clutch gene. I think that he's a great defensive player, and he brings an awful lot to the table for NBA GMs.
He's got that great body, that's for sure.
That's the main thing he brings to the table.
If he just makes that jumper as solid as it is in the final seconds of the game, if he can do that all the time, he's definitely got a long NBA career ahead of him. Okay, this one requires a little bit of explanation. A glue guy, the best glue guy in the ACC.
I love this. A glue guy, Jeff, is a guy that a coach can say, look, I don't need to run him plays. He never complains. He's had practice early, and he stays late. And the guy that does everything you need done, Trey McKinney-Jones. I love watching this young man play this season. He's one of Miami's best defenders. A lot of times he's hitting on the sideline in the offensive set, but, Jeff, you and I saw him in the ACC tournament go to work from the 3-point line. Whatever they needed done, he gets done. gets after it, gutsy. He's got a body like a defensive back there. He gets it done. You love to have a player that plays with effort and intelligence.
We're big fans. The ladies are big fans of
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
From the players of the year to the games of the year. First, the biggest upset this season in the ACC.
Oh, wow. There was so many big upsets, but I've got to go with the Wake Forest Demon Deacons beating Miami. For them, it's been an up and down year for them. Coaching staff under a little pressure, but they gave fans something to cheer about this year. They got to rush the court. They get to go out and celebrate with their team. Good things.
The best finish, Maryland over NC State.
Another tough one, but I'm going with the big Russian sickle in the middle with the jump hook. Alex Lynn getting it done.
Yeah, with 0.9 left. The put in off the Pichon miss.
Yes, the opportunity. Maryland's done this a lot this year. Had some very big wins.
And the game of the year, the best 40 minutes of basketball.
Oh, I've got to go with Duke and Miami. Ryan Kelly coming back after sitting with a foot injury, scoring 36 points. I mean, he was unbelievable from the field. And they got to come back and beat them after getting such an ugly loss down in Miami.
And even though Ryan Kelly had that huge game, Miami still had the three at the buzzer that could have forced overtime. That was truly the best game of the year, although
yes.
I will say, we had so much fun watching the ACC championship game between North Carolina and Miami. There were moments, there were chunks of time in that game where we were truly seeing college basketball at its best.
Yes, we were.
All right, more on that game coming up in a few minutes. You got to stick around for that. And we know you guys love watching our must-see moments. Coming up next on ACC Live, the #1 must-see moment of the year. What will it be?
Out with the old and in with the delicious. Commit to bold taste with the new Flavor Resolutions menu at Ruby Tuesday. 10 entrees starting at $9.99. Try our savory barbecue brushed ribs and bacon wrapped shrimp. Or take it up a notch by adding coconut crusted shrimp to our mango salsa topped Caribbean chicken. Plus, enjoy our endless garden bar, free with any chef inspired entree. Ruby Tuesday. It's all good here. Start the new year with savings. Visit rubytuesday.com today for a $5 coupon.
What's better, bigger or smaller?
Bigger!
So which would you rather have, a big treehouse or a small treehouse?
If it's big enough, she can have a disco. Oh, yeah.
Why do you not want a smaller treehouse?
Because it wouldn't be able to fit a flat screen TV, and then the TV would be about this big, and you would have to hold the wire. In the position you would hold the wire, you wouldn't be able to see the TV.
That's a pain in the buns.
Yep.
It's not complicated. Bigger is better, and AT&T has the nation's largest 4G network.
The ACC Digital Network, the ultimate video destination for ACC fans. Exclusive highlights, live streaming games, and original live programming, unique access to the student athletes of our time and the legendary voices of all time. Defining moments, personal stories, incredible analysis from authentic ACC sources, cutting-edge content from the leaders in the digital space. The ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday.
Good afternoon, Chase Sapphire. This is Stacy from Springfield.
Oh,
hello.
Yes, I didn't realize you'd be talking to an actual person.
You don't need to press 0. I'm here.
Reach a person, not a prompt, whenever you call Chase Sapphire.
This dunk of the day brought to you by Ruby Tuesday.
Looks like Carolina really trying to exploit.
Oh, my! The inbound pass from Calabria.
Now watch this, just right off the inbounds, one hand catches and bores. Here's the slam cam, great view here.
Ooh. Start the new year with savings. Visit rubytuesday.com to get $5 off 2 entrees.
I've been watching that Vince Carter dunk for 17 years, and I still can't get enough of it.
He's unbelievable, man. I'm telling you,
you saw him before his freshman year at North Carolina.
Came in to work out in the summer. He's an incoming freshman. I seen him throwing 3-quarter lob passes to this guy. I'm like, who is this? What planet did you bring him from? A great athlete, man.
JR Reid, I'm Jeff Shell. Welcome back to ACC Live on the ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. Coming up, our must-see moment of the year. But first, let's take a look at some headlines from around the conference. This is the ACC Now. The Duke women are 1 win away from the Final Four. They face future ACC member Notre Dame. Coach P's team has had a great season, but they're the underdogs against the Fighting Irish. Notre Dame, the #1 seed in the region, tip off at 7 tomorrow night on ESPN. A win puts Duke in the Final Four in New Orleans. Also tomorrow, Maryland is in the NIT semis. Madison Square Garden. That's a pretty good consolation prize for not making the NCAA tournament. The Terps take on Iowa. That one starts at 9. It's on ESPN2. And in case you missed our breaking news at the top of ACC Live, NC State forward, the junior, C.J. Leslie, announced he's going pro. I've seen mock brackets that have him mock drafts going late first round, early second round, perfect NBA body, 6'8", quick, lean. We'll find out in late June where he goes, the NBA draft, and that is the ACC now. CJ's announcement got us thinking, what other ACC stars might go pro? JR, you had to make this decision, so now you can offer some advice to the next generation. First, North Carolina's James Michael McAdoo. What would you tell him, and what should he do?
Well, if I was talking to James Michael McAdoo, the advice I would give him is to come back. You know, Carolina being a little lean this year on the inside, we need you to be more forceful in there. I think you'll see him get in the weight room. We know he's a tremendous jump shooter, but Carolina being so thin in the paint, having problems getting easy buckets and getting to the free throw line, I want to see him come back next year more determined than ever to prove to be that go-to guy in the paint.
He's got a great mid-range game, and I think NBA teams have to like the fact that he got pushed to the 5 spot. He had to play there for the team, and he accepted the role.
That's right. No complaining for him, and no crying at Carolina. He stepped up, next man up, and was ready to play, out of position some. But, hey, he got some chance to play in the post a little bit next year. Another year, I think you'll see more development.
All right. Now, there's an old truism. You cannot teach height. And
sure
Alex
can.
Len has plenty of it, 7'1", and he has basketball skills. So, JR, what should he do?
Oh, he should go. You know, sometimes you have guys 7'1", and they're just 7'1". He's 7'1" with a high skill set. This guy has everything you want inside, up and unders, duck throughs, step throughs, reverse pivot jumper. As you see right here, tremendous player. Now, when he gets to the NBA, he'll get that NBA coaching. He will get the weight training that he needs, and most importantly for him, he doesn't have to worry about who's getting him the ball inside. The NBA, that'll be taken care of. So I look for Alex to make that jump.
Now, I'm sure fans are saying, wait a second, he didn't dominate this year, but that's not necessarily what NBA scouts are looking for.
That's right. They're looking at potential. Potential is what gets you paid in the NBA, and potentially he has all the abilities to be an all-star. If you look at some of the drafts, he'll be ahead of Mason Plumlee because they want to see where you can go to, whereas Mason Plumlee might have already reached in that peak some.
We go from 7'1" to 5'11". Shane Larkin, the coach's pick for ACC Player of the Year. He led Miami in assists, steals, three-point shooting. Should he stay or go?
He did it all, and this is a tough decision. He said that he's going to stay, and now he's looking at the NBA scouts and what they're saying. This guy needs to come back. He has really, truly built a culture here and can really build on his name nationally. I'd like to see him come back, being a running for the National Player of the Year. Come back with Coach L, even though they're going to be a little thin inside, losing so many seniors, all the veteran guys. I want to see him come back and prove that he's a much better player over the summer.
His dad, Barry Larkin, of course, the Baseball Hall of Famer, says that they are looking at what they should do, and they're thinking about it. They do have a couple of weeks left to decide. If there's one part of his game you'd like to see improve, what would you like to see Shane Larkin get better at if he stays for another year?
As you said, he's done so many things. He's such a talented player. You've got to pick and try to find something. And I'm just going to say consistency because he really took over the leadership role of his team later half of the season when he became the go-to man. I would just like to see him come back next year and do this for a full season and make this his team and make a National Player of the Year run.
I did see a list, and he's a guy that could go late first round, second round if he goes pro. But again, we'll know in 2 weeks that's the deadline for underclassmen to decide. Now it's time. What was the must-see moment of the year in the ACC? Watch and listen.
And that'll do it. Miami beats North Carolina for an unprecedented third straight time this season. Miami wins its first ever ACC championship. And let the party begin.
The team was picked 4th in the preseason, but they did everything right all year, JR, and as we saw there, they had fun doing it.
Oh, they did. Coach Larinaga really let this team enjoy their moment. You know, first time on the national scene. I go back to him as an assistant at UVA. I can go back to him at George Mason. I've seen his coaching style progress over the years, and for him to let this team play the way they play, change his coaching style for them, tremendous job by team and staff.
The first regular season ACC title in Miami history, the first ACC tournament title in Miami history. A great year for Jim Laranaga's Hurricanes, to be sure. And of course, they could be in store for another year, especially with Shane Larkin back next year. But we'll have to see about that one, that's for sure. Hey, overall, it was a great basketball year for the ACC. Thank you for watching ACC Live all season long. And it's been great working with the team here at the ACC Digital Network. They made all this happen. JR and I, we just stand up here and we just talk.
Yeah, make me look pretty, Jeff. That's all you do.
Our next ACC Live is April 23rd to start getting ready for the NFL Draft. Riley Skinner will be here with me for a draft preview. Thanks again for watching ACC Live all season long. Thanks for watching the ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday.